On the morning of September 11, 2001, I set out for a normal workday in New York City. By the end of that afternoon, I had run 27 miles home, some right in the middle of the Long Island Expressway, while experiencing shock, fear, and a city forever changed. This is my story, dedicated to honoring our city, those we lost, the first responders, and those everyday New Yorkers who refused to give up. It was a perfect September morning. After commuting from Long Beach to Penn Station, I walked uptown and arrived at my Midtown office at about a mile and a half away. With coffee and bagel in hand, I started working around 8:10. Not much later, my parents called. "Are you all right?" they said. I was perplexed for a moment. They quickly informed me that a plane had struck the World Trade Center. That's big news, especially knowing that the World Trade Center made history in 1993 when a truck bomb detonated in its parking garage. I remember that incident as well. As for the plane strike, at first, everyone thought terrorism was a high probability, until the second plane hit. It then became a certainty that we were being attacked. After that, mayhem ensued, sirens wailed, the Pentagon was attacked, bridges and tunnels were now closed in New York City, and all air traffic was grounded to a halt. Getting out of the city could be nearly impossible. I needed a plan. Inside the city, confusion reigned. In cases of external emergencies, companies typically implement policies to protect employees and ensure their safety. A common strategy is to determine whether it's safer to shelter in place within the building or to evacuate. In certain situations like this, I believe everyone has the right to make their own decision. Time is of the essence. I made my decision to leave, and many others in the city made the same decision as well. Now, I stepped outside searching for news, eventually joining others in an electronics store named The Wiz. Someone caught me up to speed and told me the first tower collapsed, which I thought was impossible. When both fell, I knew I couldn't stay. With transit shut down, the only way home to Long Beach was on foot, 27 miles away. I already had my cross trainers in the office, which I used to commute daily into the city. I always swapped them out for my work shoes after settling into my office. So I bought running clothes, water, and power bars at a place called the Sports Authority, which was 2 blocks from my office. I came back to my office, changed my clothes, and set out for my run. Miles 1 to 8 were basically from my office to Woodhaven Boulevard. Once out of Manhattan, I had to make decisions on going south or east at this time. You have to remember, in this time in history, the iPhone wasn't invented yet, so I was a little bit confused as to exactly which way I wanted to proceed. And GPS was invented a year after that. The unfamiliarity of the southern route, the Kosciuszko Bridge, led me to the Long Island Expressway. The Long Island Expressway laid empty beneath helicopters. I rationed my energy, kept running, and wondered if some of my close friends had survived, and if the nation was heading to war. It was also so eerie running on an empty LIE. I thought I was probably the only one in history that ran in the middle of the LIE in broad daylight. You have to remember, this is one of the most crowded thoroughfares, not only in New York, but probably in the nation. I used to live in proximity to the tanks on the Long Island Expressway. A lot of people are familiar with those 2 tanks. They're not there anymore, but they were a landmark that I recognized when I was running on the LIE. I jogged at a slow pace, knowing I had a long run ahead of me. Along Woodhaven Boulevard, I stopped to buy a water bottle. Later, I refilled it at a gas station. It's a long trek down Woodhaven Boulevard. The road was near empty. I decided to jog, but there were some times I walked for a couple yards here and there. It was about 10 miles until the Cross Bay Bridge. I paused at a bar ironically called Almost Paradise. It was near the Rockaway boardwalk. I looked to my back briefly at the smoke over Manhattan. I remember my thoughts back then. I thought the beauty of the blue sky ahead of me running home with the ocean and seagulls, sand, contrasted with the devastation as I looked behind me. The thought of what happened and the weariness of the day got to my emotions. I did sob quietly for a few seconds. How could I ignore that nature was undisturbed here with the ocean, the sand, the seagulls, and there was horror behind me that was man-made by apparently the most intelligent creatures on the planet. Going over the Atlantic Beach Bridge was my last hurdle. Familiar streets brought me home, although relief was tempered by sorrow. The city I left that morning was gone forever, changed forever. At home, the images played on TV again and again. Friends and fellow runners were among the dead. A journalist later published my story to show not athleticism, but the will to keep moving forward. This story is not about me. It's for the thousands we lost, the heroes who ran towards danger, and the families who still carry the weight of that morning. That day I ran for survival. Today I run for remembrance. It's been 24 years, but the memories are vivid. We must never forget. For every name, every family, every step.